Hello and welcome to Flip-Flops and Notebooks. I am Elliot, and I know I'm supposed to have some catchy way of introducing today's book. I don't, because the more I think about it, the more frustrating and sarcastic I'm getting. So I'm just going to say it. Today's book is The Lion Club by Annie Ward. Yeah, if you want to know why I am getting sarcastic just thinking about it and a little bit tongue-tied, stick around, make yourself a cup of coffee or tea, and let's get started. Alright, so first of all, thank you to the publisher Park Row and NetGalley for providing me with a copy of this book. All of my opinions are my own, and I have to confess, it was a crappy week when I read this book. It could have influenced my opinion of it. I'm not going to point any fingers and blaming anybody, but it was a weird constellation at the time, and I was just in need of a good book, of a good murder mystery, just to get me through that funk of the week. And I just ended up being very sarcastic and kind of like, do I have to talk about this book? Yes, I do. I've never read anything by this author, so I went into this book with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. And yeah, and that's where it all died. Let's talk about the details. What's wrong with the characters? That was my overall question I had as I began reading this book. They're all stock characters. We have the bored rich housewife who is just more concerned about the way she comes across to other people, how she looks like or is presenting herself in public. We have the worried working mom who technically doesn't need to work but wants to work, and she's worried about her husband, maybe her job, I can't remember, her kids. I feel like everything just worries her. And if you're having a crappy week and you just want a murder mystery and you read about somebody who's worried about everything, you're starting to worry more yourself. That's not good. And then we have the character with the secrets. We're getting little crumbs here and there of what it might be, but it's never enough to really hook us in, to be really interested in the character. So it's kind of like, okay, so they're not telling us everything about this character. Dangle the carrot a little bit too much, and you start losing interest. And what really got to me was this character with this obvious role. At least it was very obvious to me, and I'm not sure if this was supposed to be some sort of like shocking twist or surprise, but as soon as I read that one first sentence that's introducing this character, I was thinking, yep, this is the role this character has and nothing else. And again, if it's so predictable, you lose interest. And that's what happened to me. Let's continue talking about the writing style. Usually I talk about the plot first, but my argument about the writing style kind of builds on top of the plot, so I need to talk about that first. Again, tongue-tied. The writing style was very good. It was easy flowing, it was relaxing. I was sitting here, and as I started reading, just from the writing style perspective, I could feel the tension kind of, leaving my shoulders a little bit, and it was easy to just forget about things. And then the frustrating part happened. So many abrupt changes in scenes. It goes from one character being at the gym to later on that night in a split second, and it really jolts you out. You just kind of like, what just happened? I don't understand. So let me read you something, and I hope that kind of makes it a little bit more obvious. Natalie watched as he ran up and down the court, offering encouragement. She felt strangely drawn to him. He was supportive and instructive. For the next 10 minutes, while she did more than her normal amount of stretching by the balcony, her eyes never left Coach Nick. As Sloane, one of the best athletes at the school, won a race, Coach Nick yelled, "Bravo, speedster! Way to hustle!" Natalie was overcome with a sense of longing and emptiness that she hadn't felt in years. At home that night, she wondered if she should get a cat. Maybe she should call her mom. I'm like, what? We were just on the balcony. She was just in the gym. She was just stretching, kind of like drooling a little bit over this Coach Nick. And all of a sudden, she's at home considering getting a cat. What happened? And if there's so many jumps while you're in that kind of reading trance, you get jolted out of it, and then you have to backtrack, maybe even a couple of scenes, and that's very stressful because you're being pulled out of the story. So that was very frustrating and didn't do any good for anybody. Right, so the plot, it was there, but it wasn't. It was a murder mystery, but it wasn't. It started out very, very promising, but there were tangents, red herrings, distractions, unnecessary details about everything. I mean, do we really need to know exactly what this person's son, daughter, cousin twice removed had for lunch that day? No, because if it's a murder mystery, you kind of like, you get more in tuned in paying attention to various details because it might become important later on, because I mean that's the telling little evidence that will reveal the murder at the end. So I think, at least for me, I get very hypersensitive about details in murder mysteries, and if you have so many details and so many descriptions, you just get overwhelmed, and it just doesn't work anymore. Okay, the verdict. Surprise, I did not enjoy it. It started out strong, and then it did a whole nosedive into a jumble of details and twists, and it was a tedious read. And I'm sitting here having to give a negative review, and I don't enjoy it. Trust me, I don't. So I cannot recommend it. Now, it's a very unpopular opinion from what I can see other people saying on Goodreads, but it's a big no for me. All right, that's enough for me. Of course, I want to know what you have to say about this, what you thought about this, because two people can read the same book but never the same story. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Thanks for watching.